Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I want to kind of do another thoughts and theories on Infinity War. As you know, by the time you see this, a little bit more than a week ago, a new trailer for Infinity War dropped. I guess you could call this almost a more official trailer. Is kind of how most people treat it, because they're like, oh yeah, the first one's kind of more of a teaser. This is kind of like the official one because it gives you a little more meat from the movie, essentially, which like it's got me super excited. The first trailer already got me excited. This one's got me even more pumped for the movie. It's like, oh my god, April 27th can't get here soon enough. So obviously kind of like break down some of the stuff we saw in the trailer. For one thing I noticed is like Tony's suit. It seems like it's a nano suit, which I thought was kind of interesting, because the thing is, like, Tony has like a specialized suit in the comic books. I'm only familiar with it only slightly recently because like I've been kind of binging a lot of like death battles, and I totally forgot what it is, but it's like this white like suit, and I don't remember like the whole circumstances around it. And I'm curious, is that what that new armor he's wearing in the movie is, or is that like a new suit that he's made himself? Because it's been a while since I've seen the Iron Man movies, but I don't remember a suit like that. Because this one seems like, because I can never think of the word, but it's like, it does seem like a nanotech suit, kind of like T'Challa's Black Panther suit, which makes me wonder, like, is that something Tony made, or is that something like T'Challa's sister Shuri made? Because there's even a scene, like a shot in the trailer where people kind of like, someone had kind of pointed out, if you look at it, like the thing that's in that hologram in her hand is actually one of the Hulkbuster, which I didn't see it necessarily, because to me, from like, I maybe did it to them, just never looked at it close enough, but it looked like it was more like a mask rather than a suit. But hey, like, you know, someone probably saw something I couldn't, but there was that. So that makes me wonder, like, obviously she might like tinker around with the Iron Man suit, so maybe he goes to her because like she's like, I mean, hell, who knows, like she's probably smarter than Tony is, because she literally handles all of Wakanda's technology, which is crazy, dude, which makes her like super crazy smart. It's like she literally handles all the technology for a country, and you know she's like probably like super young too, so it's like crazy. So I mean, you probably see some collaboration like that. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. And interestingly enough, along that same line, some people were talking about, if you look at the Hulkbuster and how it kind of moved in like this trailer, that basically someone, I forgot who it was saying that maybe it's actually the Hulk in there. Not necessarily Bruce Banner, but the Hulk himself in that, which I'm like, oh, that's kind of an interesting thought. But the reason why I'm talking about that is because when you look at Tony near the end of the trailer, like you see that like half the suit is gone, but the way that like textures look on it, it does look like it is like a nano suit, which I think that says a lot. Like if a nano suit is broken down to that point, because it doesn't look like it's necessarily regenerating. It looks like most of it kind of got burned off or something like. So he must have, like, Thanos must have messed that up enough so that it's not. Because I feel like in the first trailer, like when Thanos punches Tony, it didn't look like it was this, maybe because it was kind of more so from the back, but it looked like the suit he was wearing was kind of closer to his original suit. It didn't look like it was like this newish suit, but maybe it was the same suit. Kind of about to say, like, not unless Tony brought in a new suit mid-fight or something like that. I kind of went about it a roundabout way, but that's why I was kind of wondering about that, which, like, if you don't know, like, nano suits are kind of my favorite thing, because to me, I like anything that kind of reminds me of like a symbiote and just the way it kind of forms around you. That's kind of why I like the Spider-Man Unlimited suit, and as well as like I lost my shit about like Black Panther suit being like that too, being so sick. Which this does kind of present, like, one thing too is it does seem like this does present like kind of, if you hadn't seen my previous one, my thoughts and theories, is kind of like my top 3 people I feel like are probably going to die in this movie. I'm sure it's at the top of the list for a lot of people. Steve, Tony, and Vision are kind of at the top, so it kind of seems like that might be right up there. Tony is definitely up there even more so, because Thanos is like, I hope they will remember you. I'm like, oh yeah. And with Tony with the half-broken armor, like obviously that might not be the context of the scene. That might have been something they sliced together like that, but they did a very good job of making go, that seemed like that might be connected, so that was pretty good. But another name on the list, I probably would, like, I had seen thoughts of people putting it out there, but I was like, nah, there's no way they're gonna do it. Do it. God, I can't speak today. It's Thor. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, to be fair, this is a movie where potentially anyone could die. Like I said, I get the feeling like everyone's safe. I mean, there's like some aspects of like how the comic books work that kind of hurt people, so I really won't get into that. I don't think they'll get to what they did in the comic books, obviously, because the movies are going to be very different. I kind of get the feeling like if you're newer to the MCU, you're kind of safe. Certain people are. But Thor, the reason why I threw Thor out there was because someone had pointed out something that was kind of interesting to me. Because the big conversation is, it's Loki doing this, or, you know, for himself? Is he like, oh man, he's being a bad guy again and he's trying to give over the Tesseract to Thanos because he's trying to save his own hide or working with Thanos. But when you look at Loki, he doesn't have his usual like mischievous like smugness to him. And something someone had pointed out was to me that moment where Thanos is holding Thor's head and is making him look in that direction, and he's, well, not necessarily, it's like he's holding Thor's head, but it didn't look like he was necessarily squeezing hard, but maybe he was. But me, it makes me think, you know, someone had pointed out, like, what if he's actually making Thor look at him, those four loyal to Thanos kill Loki? What if that's the whole context to that scene? Like, what if it's a situation where it's kind of like Loki's actually trying to do the right thing, trying to be a good guy, and it's just like, don't hurt my brother, don't kill my brother. And he's kind of like giving him the Tesseract in that sense. And then it's like, okay, thank you. Now Thor watches my people kill your brother type of thing. I mean, that could be it. Because obviously people kind of pointed out, like, Loki kind of goes back and forth. I feel like, especially where we left off in Ragnarok, I mean, to be fair, in Dark World, they work together, but then there's the whole Loki pretending to be Odin thing. So it's back and forth. I mean, there's no telling he really did anything extremely bad while he was pretending to be Odin. I mean, the worst is that he kind of hid Odin away on Earth. That's kind of shitty, but that's about it. But like, I mean, who's to say, you know? Because it could be like, oh, he is trying to save his own hide, but I'm kind of giving Loki the benefit of the doubt. I'm thinking he's trying to save, you know, get his brother spared or something like that. So this might be a situation where it could either be Thor, or we could see Loki having a permadeath, which is like, well, Loki faked his death in the past before, but I feel like this could be a situation where we get permadeath for him, but we'll have to wait and see. Another interesting thing that I never thought about before, like I completely let it slip my mind, but because the Guardians are kind of a bigger thing in this trailer, it kind of clicked in my head. It's like, right, like Drax probably might be next too, because out of anyone, I was like, right, him and Gamora are probably the ones that want Thanos dead the most, you know? And that's kind of an interesting thing to me too. It's like, right, none of like our Earth heroes will know anything about Thanos. The only ones who will know, the ones with all the information, are the Guardians. That's why it's told from like Gamora's perspective at the beginning of being like, hey, like Thanos, all he's ever wanted to do is wipe out like half of the universe. And with the Infinity Stones, he could do it with the snap of a finger. And then, you know, it cuts to Tony being like, tell me his name again, Thanos. And it's like, which obviously those seem like they'll maybe not be connected, because you have Gamora looking on the ship, so that might actually be her talking to Thor. I don't know, like Tony looked like he might have been at Doctor Strange's place, at least from the background. Could be 100% wrong on that. So, but I think once again, just that little trailer thing they did, I thought that was kind of a nice touch. It kind of sets the tone. Well, because I would think Doctor Strange would have some idea. I feel like he'd be the only person on Earth, you know, being like the Sorcerer Supreme and everything, knowing all that he knows, like being one of the cosmic dudes in this situation. You would think that he'd know a lot more about this situation. So, with, you know, some of his knowledge, so he's probably one of the people they go to about this whole situation. And then obviously, like, going along with my same thought is we have like Steve going toe to toe with Thanos, like holding back his fists like that. And it's like, and because I love the way they got it designed, it almost looks like Thanos isn't even trying, and it looks like Steve is struggling so hard. It's kind of what that seems like that is. And it's like, man, we know like he's powerful with the Infinity Stones, but on the level of just straight power, like we don't know exactly what Thanos is capable of on his own. Some other interesting things some people kind of pointed out about this movie is because of, like, you know, the different locations in the movie, it does seem like the entire like group of fighters will probably be heavily divided in these different groups doing different things. So it probably won't be a situation of everyone comes together to fight Thanos. Probably like different groups are attacking Thanos at different points in time. Like that area that's somewhere else, probably off Earth, is the whole situation with like Peter, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, the Guardians, that area. Then there's like Wakanda. So we probably won't see a moment where everyone comes together. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I feel like that'd be probably something that happens in 4. You know, so other things that's kind of interesting to me is it's something I didn't even think about at the time. It's the suit that Peter's wearing, because a lot of people are like, oh, that's the Iron Spider suit, which it's cool and everything, but like to me, I feel like at least from the trailers, they haven't shown it to be the Iron Spider suit. Like I'm not that familiar with the Iron Spider suit. I only know about it because of Ultimate Spider-Man, the cartoon. Because in that, obviously, it has more traditional Iron Man colors. It's yellow, well, gold and red, mainly red, but it has like gold around like the eyes, the spider design, as well as like some like bracers on the arms, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I looked at it, but I don't know if that's the canonical look for it in the comic books or not. Maybe that's a more modern take on it, like, you know, that particular design. So I'm wondering, is it supposed to be that? Because it also has like little, like 4 little spider arms that come out of it. So I'm wondering, is that what that's supposed to be? Because none of the trailers have shown any of that. Or is it supposed to be like his suit that he has from Tony, but like a lot more like technologically advanced? Is it, you know? Because I do hope also along those same lines, it's something I need to think about before too, is I hope we get more Karen, you know, because that was something like he'd never really tapped into all the technology that's in his original suit. Like obviously he fiddles with it in like Homecoming, but that was one of my favorite things, is like the whole thing with Karen. It's like I hope he gets his moments with like Karen in the movie too, because I think that'd be pretty neat. There's a lot of other things to talk about too. Obviously I brought it up in the previous one, was obviously Ant-Man and the Wasp. Obviously that's taking place after this movie, but like it's something like some people have talked about before. Like I don't really remember like the MCU ever playing with time like that. You get what I mean? In a sense of, usually when these movies happen, it's like, oh yeah, that thing, previous things have already happened. So I'm guessing like, you know, Ant-Man and the Wasp is like taking place before everything in Infinity War goes down. You would assume, because it's like, I don't know if you could just go back to normal life after, you know, having a movie like that, because that seems obviously like a small story, you know, ha 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 ha. Once again, Ant-Man, that turned into a whole annotation joke on another video. It's not really a joke. It's like, I'm not even trying to make the joke, but like it is like a smaller story. So I would think that would be happening while Infinity War is over here happening. So I guess it's like we have Ant-Man and the Wasp just setting up their story. I would obviously have some effect on like Infinity War. Like maybe there's something that pops up in Infinity War that's like, oh wow, that's where that thing happened, because it's like, oh yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp explains that thing, and obviously it's probably set up for Avengers 4 as well. But what I also didn't think about at the time too was Captain Marvel, because whatever in my mind, I didn't think that movie was coming out until after Infinity War. But apparently, at least from what I've been hearing, it seems like that's I mean not Infinity War, but the 4th Avengers movie, it seems like that's actually coming out before Avengers 4, which is kind of interesting. I was like, holy crap, I thought that was after. I think at the same, because I think also in my head too, for whatever reason, I feel like Spider-Man like the next Spider-Man movie is going to be the first movie after Avengers 4, but I could be completely wrong. I haven't looked at the schedule, so I do apologize about that. But that's kind of interesting, because that brings a new level to it too, because Captain Marvel, well, for one, it's stuff I had already heard previously, but Captain Marvel was being set in the 90s, so that's like huge setup, which once again kind of plays around with that whole aspect of like, I feel like this is the first time they've really told any stories like out of chronological order. At least I feel like. Maybe I'm kind of forgetting anything. I mean, it has been like, this will be filmed 19. Because if you don't know, that also includes the Incredible Hulk movie with Edward Norton. That falls into the category of this whole MCU situation too. So it is 19. I mean, by the time that comes around, that will be 21, right? And then Avengers 4 will be 22. I mean, in that particular case, Captain Marvel. So I'm curious to see what Captain Marvel sets up. There's some stuff that people had brought up that I thought was kind of interesting about what could be set up in a Captain Marvel movie. But like, the whole point is like, I know that she kind of has cosmic powers too. Like, I'm not that familiar with the character at all. I really don't know what her whole thing is. So I'm curious to see like what her whole story ends up being. Like, I'm not looking into it at all. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised by the movie like, oh wow, so this is what Captain Marvel's about. You know, it's like, oh, why her story's taking place in the 90s? Why are we going that far back, you know? Because some people are like, well, that could be potentially setting up for stuff that affects, you know, the story in both Avengers movies, you know? So, well, it could be affecting the MCU entirely with a lot of stuff that's going down, but obviously I won't get into that because it's just kind of, because it's something I'm not that familiar with, so I'm not really going to discuss it. So, oh yeah, and there's also like this other thing that people have kind of pointed out too, because you see a younger Gamora and Thanos, it kind of makes you go, oh, so this, you know, because I think someone had said that people behind the movie have been basically like, no, this is going to be Thanos' story. It's what Infinity War is. I mean, I assume maybe Infinity War and Avengers 4 would be, you know, so, which is going to be very interesting. As someone who doesn't know comic books, it's going to be interesting kind of understanding where he came from, why he, you know, kind of doing what he's doing, being kind of like the destructive dude that he is. It's also, some other people have kind of brought up something that I kind of talked about in the previous video of Infinity War, was about the whole death situation. Well, there are going to be people who die, so obviously death is going to pop up. Is she going to play an overall part of this plot or not? Like, is she going to be like the reason why Thanos is doing what he's doing? Because like I said, it's like a love situation, and everything he does is like, oh yeah, I'm so in love with death, I just want to impress her. That's why I was, but at the time I said it too, like, I wish Deadpool was in this movie just so you could have that love triangle situation between them. Obviously that's not going to happen because of the whole like Fox deal and stuff. It was going to be like a whole year before all that actually went through anyway, and besides, like, that would mean jamming all of that in, and it's just like that's kind of like, that wouldn't be good. But it's just I would love to see that love triangle situation. I wonder, is it going to be a situation like that? I would assume we are going to see her. I don't know if it would be this movie or maybe even in Avengers 4, but it'd be kind of interesting to see if that is kind of one of his main motivators, is just kind of to impress Death. I feel like that might be on the sillier side of things, of like his motivation, but I don't know if that's something they take. I feel like it might just be something else, but I would still like to see her make an appearance in the movie, but like I said, we'll have to wait and see. And also, something I let completely slip my mind is, what does this actually mean for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Obviously, like, the MCU, what happens in it does affect Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Obviously, it doesn't work the other way around, but obviously that's a conversation I've had before, so I won't get into it and stuff like that. But still, it's something I didn't even think about, because it's like, when you look at where, like, if you haven't seen this current season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, certain things are going down, like some heavy plot stuff that's like, oh yeah. So it's like, what does that mean in, like, with the whole Infinity War thing happening? Because I'm sure Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will still be going on by the time Infinity War happens. What's going down in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., is that also because of Infinity War? Because I hadn't even thought about that. Because I don't remember if the first trailer came out by the time the new season started. I feel like it came out during, you know, the start of the new season, but I don't remember. But either way, it's like, I can't believe I let that slip my mind. So obviously, if you're not watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or don't care, like, this won't mean as much to you, but it means a lot to me, because I'm like, what does that mean for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because like, the movies do tend to tie in, like, they might not have like huge effects on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they do bring up storyline elements. Like Civil War had its effects, as well as like Age of Ultron. Like, Age of Ultron was kind of referenced. It's kind of like, oh yeah, and it's like one episode near the end of season 2 was like, oh yeah, and basically Age of Ultron happens next. It's kind of because like Reyna had her whole vision about Ultron and everything. But I feel like, especially with what Infinity War is going to bring, is like, that's going to have a huge effect on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I'm curious like how that all is going to correlate, especially with what's going now. I'm beating around the bush because I don't want to actually talk about like what's actually happening, because it's a spoiler for anyone that doesn't know. That was just something that kind of crossed my mind, and I felt like kind of adding that in there. Like, if you're currently caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., let's talk about that. Like, I don't know if I've heard anyone really bring that up in discussion, but maybe people have and I just haven't heard it. But that's never part of the conversation I hear people talking about. Like, just obviously because it's just focus on Infinity War and what that means for the MCU as a whole and everything. But I feel like that should also include that. Also, what does that mean for the TV shows going forward? Obviously, like, that's got to be a big thing for like even like the Netflix stuff going forward too. Especially if a lot of that stuff goes down in New York, that's going to be affecting a lot of stuff going forward, I would assume. But like, that's more stuff we just have to wait and see about. So ultimately my question to you guys is, what do you think? You know, these are some of the thoughts and theories that I have, that I've also picked up from other people as well. Let me know your own. Just let me know your thoughts about everything in the comments down below. Also, let me know how excited you are for, well, Infinity War, but also just everything beyond, like everything coming, you know, to this like huge climax, you know, that will eventually be Avengers 4, and then obviously like what lies beyond that, which I can't even imagine. But I'm super excited to see how this whole 10-year thing is coming to a semi-close, and see where they go from there, you know? Really, that's all I want to talk about in this video. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.